There are many bigger and smaller differences between Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild, including that you can't whistle sprint in Tears of the Kingdom like you could in Breath of the Wild. You can also collect rupees by pressing A in Tears of the Kingdom, while you just walk into rupees in Breath of the Wild. Make sure to watch until the end for these very interesting differences. When starting out in Tears of the Kingdom, one of the most important mechanics is probably the tree, because like in Breath of the Wild, you have to use that to get around. But in Tears of the Kingdom, they get rid of a certain walking animation / running animation that Breath of the Wild had. As you can tell, Link stretches his arms outward as he runs, unlike in Tears of the Kingdom. There is a house in Breath of the Wild that has a certain minigame where you can bowl, which is pretty fun to play, but there's something pretty interesting with this. That's because in Tears of the Kingdom, if you locate it on your map, you can actually find that it's destroyed. This is mostly because of the upheaval, I would assume anyway, but you can technically still bowl, even though they won't be pins, just the constructs. In Tears of the Kingdom, you can have plenty of arrows and still buy more, which is pretty funny because in Breath of the Wild, you couldn't do this. Even if you had a little bit over 100, the shops would run out. You can no longer find any more arrows anywhere. Wells in Breath of the Wild didn't really serve much of a purpose, unless it was to hide Koroks or for salvation from guardians. But in Tears of the Kingdom, there's chasms and sometimes caves, or at least an underground to the wells. You can actually go to the top of a mountain and find King Rome's grave. Now, of course, there's actually amber inside of the grave if you search it. But in Tears of the Kingdom, instead of putting something else inside of the grave, they actually put King Rome's sword. This is mostly because in Age of Calamity, King Rome also uses the same sword. In Tears of the Kingdom, the text is colored orange, but in Breath of the Wild, the text is more red when referring to names. In Breath of the Wild, you could find someone who is responsible for trashing the entire place. But in Tears of the Kingdom, instead there's actually someone that's trying to clean it up, which is a pretty interesting message. And here are some shoutouts on screen, so if you're interested in checking out some other Zelda related content, you can check that out. And thank you all so much for watching to the end. It was a much longer video than I anticipated, but I hope you have a great rest of your day and have fun gaming. And Merry Christmas, or at least Happy Holidays.